oh, okay. This was a sustained part, and he had to get up this morning early, which he doesn't like to do, for a 9 a.m. audition, and he nailed it. And the most beautiful part is that his sister, my stepdaughter Nikki, happened to be in the house because she's on her way to see her mom and she was dropping off her dog. So brother and sister had a huddle and she was able to give him some advice. And that was beautiful just in and of itself. If it had been nothing beyond that, I would have felt like this was a huge win. But the fact that he
Because
woke up
she's an
early,
actress.
yeah,
So
I'm sorry, I
Nikki's
left
an
that part.
actress. She has her degree in theater. She's continued to do theater, and she's acted, for many years at this point. And this
And
was the first time that I can remember that, and she's like 20 years older than Jason, damn near.
yeah,
This is the first time I can remember that they had a conversation, an adult level conversation, both of them talking about a thing that they want to do with their lives. With
craft.
her being able to report back to him what the territory looks like from where she is and share some of what she has gained. I saw the future. I saw that, and he did the audition, and the director's reaction was, where were you in season one?
Hmm.
So it's like, this is wonderful because it is a genuine step towards what he wants to do that is rewarding work he's already done and also gave him an opportunity to watch us pivot when we hit a wall. That we
Yeah.
weren't just providing him with an opportunity, we were giving him an opportunity to learn how the world works. And what we're saying is that if you get proper mentorship and you're taking massive action and you keep your emotions high and you keep clarifying your goal and you're certain that that goal is in alignment with who you really are, that the universe starts giving you luck. And that looking at those five things is one of the gifts that his dad wants so desperately to give him, to understand there are specific pathways to anything you're trying to accomplish. I can't cover all of them. Something like Think and Grow Rich covers general accomplishment as well as anything I can think of. But if there's a specific arena you want to go to, the thing to do is to find somebody who's already won at that. There's a maze you're trying to navigate. Find someone who's already worked their way out of the maze. Find some, and you can define that maze almost any way you want to, and somebody has solved it. You can
And the
say,
thing,
well, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
The thing I love about this scenario is that while Steve and I have seen how the magic formula works in our own lives, meaning, Hollywood is fickle, you can't go straight at it, stay within your own bliss, which is creating Life Writing on Circle, working with our community, working on our books and other projects. Steve is working on a script. I mean, just stay focused on the work, doing what you can control. Often it does seem to create a bizarre kind of luck. And for Jason to get such a great example of this, although honestly, I think I was way more disappointed about the class than he was. He was a little disappointed, but I was like super disappointed. So he got over it immediately. Um, but it's just good to know that when you hit a wall, when you hit a setback, and it's real, I was feeling real grief about it, but I just kept plowing. It's like, okay, let's pivot over here. Let me just throw this out in the universe and see what happens. And for it to pay off so immediately, I think is a great lesson for him because I think a lot of young people, not just Jason, do tend to get into despairing thought. There's, in fact, a lot of despairing thought right now. We will never, things will always be this bad. We'll never get back to where we were. Speaking of political setbacks, for example, scientific setbacks, whatever it is. And it's true. I mean, it's going to be a hill to climb to undo the damage currently happening in this presidential administration. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but to understand that we're not helpless. Oh, there are things that we can do that will help us have workarounds, will help us still embrace joy, will help us help other people. We find opportunities at a time when a lot of people are having trouble with income. If we can figure out ways to increase our income, then we can help other people who are having trouble with money, and so that's why it's if
And
you're asking for why, that's why.
if we can solve an analogous problem that we see in society, we get an example of, oh, that's how an individual solves that problem. Let me scale that up. It is inevitably the greatest gift you have the world to give the world is your own awakeness, your own, be woke, to be awake, to be aware, to be functioning in the world as an actual adult human being. A lot of you are also interested in taking that and turning and using it to drive art, so because the artistic path, I think that a dollar made through art is 10 times harder than a dollar made through business, as far as I can see. That it requires an entirely different level. Of course, I'm patting myself on the back when I say that, but some of that is inevitable and I deserve it. So if you want to be an artist, you're giving your life over to the child part of you, but then asking for adult results like money. This requires a deeper level of integration personally. You have to understand how to both stay in touch with that kid and let that kid have fun, but have a really competent, functioning, hard-ass adult. Harlan Ellison was great at this in some ways. And his child was just the fuzziest, warmest, most delightful little boy, but you had to go through a minefield to get to him, to get there. I mean, you really did. He really was the product as advertised in terms of anger and insult and stuff like that. But that means he had a very strong adult self to protect that innocent and vulnerable little boy. We That's a way of looking at this, a model looking at this, and Jason is seeing his mom and dad creating wealth and success by very high level strategies that have to seem like magic to him. How are you doing this? How can you sit at your desk and just smile all day and get a check like that? And my friends aren't doing that. He can't even talk about his life to a lot of the people who he's chosen as friends, because what he's supposed to say, your mom and dad are directing a movie in a couple months, yeah, and then we did over there, we might have to go to South Africa, and we were talking to these people, and like, he can't share that experience in a meaningful way. So he's neither got his feet on the street, nor is he living in a cloud castle, except he's living in a cloud castle. But what we have to do is to show him the staircase to get there. This is what I want to do with the
Everyone.
new challenge I've set for myself. But before I get into that, I would like you guys to unmute yourselves and say hi. Just greet each other. Just
Hi to
let's
Hello,
just
everybody. Oh my
everybody.
God,
Hey,
greet
everybody.
everybody.
Hey,
So great to
hi.
be here.
Happy
that's
Friday.
right.
And
There you
Hey,
go.
Happy
everybody.
Friday
This is my big
together.
social
Yay.
thing for the week.
That's great. This is how we do it. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, so many of you know that if the meaning of life, according to a biologist, is to survive and reproduce, once you get a more advanced organism, it wants to avoid pain and move towards that sugar water, avoid pain, move towards pleasure. Once you have something that can answer the question, starts asking the question, who am I? It's a higher level of thought. It's on the same continuum of animals. We are animals in that sense, but we can ask different questions. And then what the Dalai Lama said makes a lot of sense to me, that the meaning of life is to escape suffering, embrace joy, and be of service. So part of the way that and then looking at, I like to look at principles from area A and then learn to apply them to area B and see, is there some creativity? That's a lot of creativity is taking something that worked in one arena and say, can I apply this over here? So the notion that that a master is always learning, always doing, and always sharing, always teaching. How, if you look at that in relationship to the notion that the meaning of life is to escape suffering, embrace joy, and be of service, then there would seem to me to be a verification that there are these pathways of power in life. And you can hear you might be able to hear my grand puppy downstairs barking her little heart out because somebody's at the door. Our housekeeper's at the door. So now Marie's going to take care of that. So the question of who can I help? You see me addressing this every Friday. This is part of my giveaway to the world. And it also allows me to clarify my thoughts on how these things work. If I ask myself, who can I help? You can look out at the world and see a tremendous amount of stress. People are hurting. And I need to focus enough that I can see my results. I can see, both for the sake of being able to accomplish something and for the sake of being able to learn something about how I can do it. So I have to start with a small enough group so I can perform an experiment, be a scientist. So what I have decided to do is the goal in terms of want to help. I want to help 100,000 black families close the wealth gap in America. It's a goal I have. I question, how do I do that? Because I don't have a taste for going to people with my hat in my hand saying, please give me some money so I can help this. Because not that they would say no, because they would, but eventually I'd find someone who said yes, but they would want to have lots of input into how I do this. And unless I agreed with their methodology, why would I want, why do I want to use somebody's recipe if I've already tasted their pancakes and I don't like them? So I need a way to test the things that I do. The most honest thing I feel like I can do is to use the techniques that I have used in my own life to, become a black belt, multiple black belt, to find the love of my life and to have a successful career and to be, happy doing these things. I don't know that those principles will help, but it is legitimate of me to say, let me give to people the things that I have used. So looking at the arenas in which I've achieved some success, I ask myself, well, what do I have? Well, martial arts. That's something in which I've achieved a lot of success. What if I chose young black belts and gave them the chance to study their own behavior as they organize themselves to earn that black belt and got them to say, well, how did I use the magic formula, for the elements of the magic formula, for instance, to do this? Or the principles of Think and Grow Rich, or the principles of, any number of other principles. But let's go with the magic formula, since that's one that I understand really well. If they can do that, if they can say, oh, okay, I had a teacher, I had to go to, 3 classes a week for 2 hours a class over 5 years to do this. I had to learn how to deal with fear, and the times that I didn't feel like going, I had to control my emotions, and this is how I did that. I had a clear goal of getting a black belt because I saw the teacher up in front of the class. I envisioned myself teaching a class wearing a black belt. And yes, this is in alignment with who I am, that the secret to becoming a warrior is not to try to become something that you are not, but to find the part of you that is already a warrior, the part of you that already has that survival drive, because we all have that. We're already storytellers. We're already artists. We're already lovers. It's not a matter of finding something new. You can't be something that you're not, but you can find the seed of the thing that you want to be and nurture it, because that idea connects with the notion that the universe does not play games, in the sense that any goal that I can hold continuously in my mind over time is a goal that I have at least the seed of being able to accomplish. That's a belief that has really worked for me in my life. So once again, I can't say it's true, but I can say it's legitimate for me to give that to my children, so I can give that to strangers and feel fairly in alignment with myself. if I did that, how can I test that? Okay, well, the Black Karate Federation, which was my organization, is an inner city based organization. And so I could talk to my beloved instructor, Steve Muhammad, and I can ask him, can you give me, I want you to give me the names of some of your black belts who you believe are hard chargers, you believe are committed, they're smart, they're tough, they're aggressive, they want to win. And I will put them through a short gauntlet that won't take more than a couple of hours, in exchange for which, if they pass that gauntlet, where they have to watch a video that Tananarive and I are going to create in the next week, come up with an essay about how to apply the principles in that video, how they would view their martial arts training and winning a black belt in the context and through the framework of these principles. And then they will get on a Zoom with me and we will talk through together how these same principles can be used to find love and build a family and raise your children, to build wealth and protect your community. And I'll pay them a couple $100 to just talk with me about these things. Because if I'm right, I can connect this desire to the hunger that they already have. I can connect these understandings to principles they already know and have integrated into their body in a deep way. That any profound physical discipline will change every other aspect about you. That you cannot learn a deep physical discipline like the martial arts, yoga, certain forms of sacred dance and things like that without learning how to breathe and think and feel and move and conceptualize about the universe differently. They've already started the process. They already know how to win. So learning is learning in that sense is the process of connecting something new to something that you already know. They already know something. Let me connect it. This is what I'm going to do. I have to identify what I think are the human mind can handle 7 plus or minus 2 pieces of information at a time. So somewhere between 5 and 9 separate, distinct pieces of information are a reasonable amount. What might they be? Well, they'd be things like life writing, looking at the hero's journey and looking at the chakras as a map of reality and a map of humanity. The magic formula, which is basically a way of creating luck. I mean, it's difficult to put it any other way than that because that's what seems to happen when you do it. Maybe something to deal with fear. I have some very specific techniques that deal with that. Let me take a look just kind of at a list that I made. The 3 gates, which are your way of protecting the world from your ambition in a lot of ways. It's a guide for ethics and morality. The Think and Grow Rich 13 principles. Wonderful stuff. Now, I'm going to need to phrase all of these things in terms of my personal experience, Steve Muhammad's personal experience, or in all likelihood and in all honesty, some other black person's experience, because they're not going to be able to understand as much if it comes from someone outside their community. It's difficult. We form ego walls and belief systems to justify our existence. And if you have been abused or oppressed, you might very well have some beliefs about yourself that you have to change before you can accept abundance. And in dealing with that, it can be frightening because you're asking someone to give up a piece of their identity. And unless they can feel that they're going to gain more than they lose, that they're going to get more pleasure than pain from making that change, they won't do it. No one will. People will never change if they believe it's going to hurt them more than it helps them. this is as important as anything I've ever tried in my life. It's bigger than just taking care of my kids. And maybe I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have that sense that my daughter is cooked and my son is right on the edge of that. He's browning in the oven. We haven't taken him out and sliced him up yet, but he's really making serious. This is real progress now. This isn't a game. This isn't a kid's game. This is actual steps towards his future. And in him talking to his sister, I could see that conversation happening if Tanara and I are both dead. This is taking care of the next generation. So freeing myself to think, well, what is it that I used in my own life? What is it that I gave to my kids? What is it that I want to give to my community? And then to the world in that sense, am I in this sense asking myself, what is the final gift I want to give to the world? Am I preparing myself to have a good death? That would be the kind of thing a warrior does. I mean, seriously, that would be reasonable. When I laid this out to my teacher, Steve Muhammad, who is in his 80s, he's in the last act of his active life, and I told him what it was I wanted to do, and he was thrilled. It was just that sense of, yes, young man. It's not that I'm all that young anymore, but it was definitely that sense of, we are brothers in this. I'm a younger brother. I'll never be the fighter that he was physically, but I can be a great warrior in my way. I can serve in my way. And of course I can kick ass, but that's nice. But I didn't I didn't go into the martial arts to kick ass. Really, I went into the martial arts to learn not to be afraid of getting my ass kicked. Because what you have to do to succeed is get out there and get your ass kicked, learn the lesson, get back up, get out there again. That's how you learn. So if I had the chance of working out in the black belt class, I was going to crawl off the mat and I'd drive home crying and everything. But I knew if I could handle that, one of these days I'd be the ass kicker instead of the ass kicky. When I was working with Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle, I don't know how many human beings in history have ever had two world-class writers on opposite sides of the room ripping them a new one every day. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. But I knew something. I knew that if I could handle it, if I could take it, if I could keep coming back, I would learn. It was going to burn away all the bullshit until what was left. If I survive this, I'm a writer. I have to be a writer to survive in this context. And now I'm enough of a writer that Larry Niven and I are playmates. It's like, we work together for the fun of it because I adore that man and I thank him for all he gave me. And with Steve, we're brothers. We're holding that line together. I'm going to advance your dream. So the commitment to helping others helps you to be the best person you can be. Have you noticed how I've had to think through every piece of what it is that I'm trying to do? How does this work? Why does this work? That's all because I have my why. And in life, what you want to accomplish is less important. The how of accomplishing something is less important than the why. Why do you want to do it? It's always going to either be escaping suffering, embracing joy, or being of service. When your values are clear, then the actions that you take are aligned with your core, the C in the magic formula. I hope to God, and I mean this with all my heart, that you're starting to see how all these things connect. How I'm telling you exactly how I've done what I've done over the course of my life. I was willing to get up every day and do this. I don't even get out of bed until I can think of a way I can improve by 1%. What can I do? Where in my life can I improve by just 1%? Where? Oh, okay, I can see that. Today I'm improving by 1% by realizing that I've got two potential students for what I call the WHO program, the WHO, Warrior to Hero organization. If I can clarify what I'm going to teach them and plan to do the recording, I'm improving 1%. See how it works? Don't let a day go by that you're not finding something you can improve. and improving it just 1%. I would say don't let the first hour of your day go by without doing that, without doing your morning ritual, without thinking about your life, thinking about what you're going, where you're going, and how can I get 1% better? If the most important thing that I'm going to do today is write, how many pages I'm going to do? I'm going to get 1% better at defining what I have to do, 1% better at researching what I'm doing, 1% better at staying on track, 1% better at keeping focus, something, just 1%. If you will do just that every day, find one tiny thing to improve, you will blow the mind. Within a couple of years, you'll run into old friends and they will hardly recognize you. What have you been doing? And what you've been doing is just improving by 1% a day. So I'm just improving 1% at conveying to you what it is I want to do for this very specific disadvantaged community. Because my belief is if it will work for that community, it'll work great for you guys. It's my belief that any of you who use the techniques I'm talking about would outperform me. Why? Because I had the specific wounds that needed this stuff. You don't have those specific wounds. So you're starting in that sense from an advantage. My program was designed to help people who had nothing, people who were born in a deficit, born in a hole, okay, and wanted to claw their way out and then climb a mountain. So if you weren't born in the same kind of hole, once again, Mazel tov, great. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to get 1% better at this. I'm going to do it in such a way that that is in alignment with who I am. And if I do that, luck will happen. It will absolutely happen because that's what happens. We all know that when you don't have a job, you can't get a job until you've got a job, and then suddenly people offer you jobs. When you don't have a boyfriend, girlfriend, you can't get one until you've got one, and then all of a sudden other people are saying, it's just the way the universe works. Keep 100% of your attention on the thing you can do. And you do that with all your strength and all your heart. And you do it in a balanced way, according to the three gates. You are honest, you're kind, and you're constantly seeking ways to be more efficient and effective. Do that, and the universe begins to bend. And things like calls coming out of nowhere, and people offering you resources, and people you loaned money to 10 years ago, sending you a check in the mail. Stuff starts happening. The instant you don't need luck, that's when you get it. So you set yourself up so you don't need luck. You play the odds. I don't need luck to sell a vacuum cleaner. I just need to know that I have to knock on 20 doors before I get one yes. And so I'm going to knock on 20 doors today. Luck has nothing to do with it. I'm playing the odds. And the other thing, before we close this part of this, is to remember you might be in a situation where other people have created the game board. I certainly was. I did not create the game board of my life even the rules that I had to play by to a certain degree. But ultimately, it's critical to remember you're not playing against the house. The house always wins. You're playing against the other players. You're playing against the other people at the table. And if they don't understand the rules as well as you do, if they're not as courageous as you, if they don't have the same, to hell with this, patience my ass, I'm going to kill something attitude, if they don't have the same understanding of fear and work that you have, you will beat them. The house will take its cut, no question about that, and they can set up the game so that it's a bear. But you play your game, and you play to win, and you remember why you have to win. It's not just for your own survival, although that's the bottom line. It's for the health of your family and the health of your community. Given that, once again, this is just like I said, a great day because Jason took a serious step forward. We had a wonderful meeting in terms of making our short film, and it is my belief, and you'll have an opportunity to see whether or not I'm right about this. June 20th is the date we have set up to do our short film. I believe that if we focus all of our attention on doing the most fantastic job we can with that everything else we're looking for will happen. Why? Because the universe is perverse. If you are usefully busy, that's when they'll give you other opportunities. So if we are busy up to here, that's when we'll get a television series. That's when we'll get another offer to write this movie over here. That's just the way it is. That's my hypothesis.
And by the
My
way, just a
life is, yes,
reminder,
yes.
the only reason we're doing this short film and that we have a relationship with this company is because we were hired by this company last year to polish a script for this director, and we were promptly fired by Blumhouse after one or one and a half drafts. So that disappointment of getting fired was blunted by the ongoing relationship we have with the director and his company. Blumhouse might not have liked the work we did, but the director liked our work very much. Now
And
they're
you'll
shooting,
notice that Blumhouse is floundering right now. Maybe
are
they're
they?
making bad decisions, like firing us.
So I'm happy for this director. It's his first time directing a thriller, and it's not my place to say who he is. But one day an announcement will come out, and we'll be like, "This is the one. This is the one." But he's literally shooting his movie right now, at the same time we're planning our movie, and we are using the same executive. So he's giving the executive advice for things we should be doing with our movie. So Blumhouse lost out, but we won out because we are having the chance to forge a relationship with this director and his production company, which is all we wanted out of the polish, frankly. We always knew that our relationship with Blumhouse might not be comfortable because
Well, T, we also wanted the money. We
yes,
got
no, and
very,
also
very well paid.
and it was a great script. I think if we had hated the original script, we would have passed because we've done that in the past. But it was such a strong script, and I think if we did anything wrong, we were hewing a little too closely, maybe to the original, or maybe not. I don't know. No one ever gave us a real breakdown about what went wrong. But the point was that disappointment, which was big, significant. We had hoped maybe even we would get a credit, if we made enough changes, we might get a credit. But it's working out because we're making our own film. We're having casting conversations that would make it even more likely that it gets turned into a feature down the line in terms of some of the people we're talking about for playing the grandmother in this piece. I don't mind telling y'all. Do they know what it is? Is it a secret still?
I'm gonna stop the recording for a second here.
Oh,
Oh,
is that how it works? And when I mean, that was a big disappointment. But it's come back around, and that script has continued to circulate. That script was what got us the polished job. The company that gave this director's company always liked the script and wanted to do it as a feature, but they want to like step by step. Let's do it as a
well,
short
they
first.
also want us to direct it. That they
Yeah,
think
that's
that
the
that
weird
would
part.
be some built-in promotion. The queen of black horror and the king of Afrofuturism, directing their first feature. It's like, yeah, that's worth promotional money right there. You can get on talk shows doing that. I can see us doing the walk down that hallway. Anyway,
Oh, I know.
it's
What's that? That's the Jennifer Hudson show,
yeah, the
right?
Jennifer Hudson stuff. So we'll have to practice our moves, because we
I
know
don't
we're
know.
going to do the spirit
And they
walk
ain't
down
gonna
the
invite
hallway.
no screenwriters. Well, maybe.
No, it happens. It
It does
happens.
happen. It does happen. But anyway, the whole point was all of it is from a disappointment. The keeper was born in disappointment. It was forged in disappointment and has nonetheless kept circulating. And it's never been what exactly we wanted or what exactly we expected. But I mean, yesterday it just kind of blew my mind. Oh my God, we're actually directing this because directing is not just on the set. I mean, directing starts when you're planning the movie. And the conversations we were having yesterday, this actress's agent getting all excited about potentially doing the part. And we're like, oh my God, she would want to do it. It feels like we're directing a movie. So fingers crossed, everybody. And I'm going to unspotlight myself.
Okay, so that is, let's have enough of us talking at you and now move this to out of theory into practice. That means, any comments, questions, requests, what's going on in your life, you want to workshop something, you want to challenge us on something, you want to brainstorm about something, this is your time. So raise your hands and let's talk about life. Let's talk about what you specifically want to achieve. Anything physical, anything in terms of your emotions, relationships, in terms of your career. If you wanted to talk about something connected with writing, of course, that's our bread and butter. That's we'll go right down that road with you, no matter what it is. So volunteer, or you will be voluntold, and I will look for people. Nobody's putting their hands up. Oh, it's going to get wild. All right, Damien, Daryl, Jerry.
Hey Steve, how are you?
I'm
Well,
doing great.
all right,
How
let
are
me turn my
you?
Good to
video
see you
on.
here. Good to
Please
see you
do.
here.
Hello to Nanarie, how are you? I'm trying to turn my
I
video on.
am
Okay, there I am. There I
I am doing great. Yes, I'm
am. Okay.
doing great. So great I'm almost feeling guilty about it. So good to see you.
Likewise, likewise. I don't know. A couple of things. I think I asked you a couple of weeks ago about finishing follow through. I was having issues with follow through, and I'm still working on them. But you
Okay,
gave me some.
so were you going to start? Are you a writer?
Yes.
Okay, so you were working on a short story.
Yeah, working on a novel actually.
No, no, no. The follow
Oh yeah,
through.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
we need. I can coach you
Okay.
to develop that follow through thing you have
Yeah, yeah.
best. Although you're a grown ass man and you will
Yeah,
make
yeah.
your own decisions.
Yeah, yeah.
Best with short stories for a
Yeah,
number
yeah.
of different reasons. But if you're, are you in the Afrofuturism group? Are you in Life Writing Professional?
No, I am going to get in it, but I'm trying to just save up the money so I can.
That's no, I understand that completely.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to know whether or not I could hold this back until we're in that group. No, let me give it to you now.
yeah, that's fine.
So, why do you want to finish the novel? If you're not finishing it, it's because there's
Mm,
more. Either you're not clear on what is necessary
mm-hmm,
to do to finish it. It was like you don't have a
mm-hmm,
map that would enable you to finish it, or
mm-hmm.
you don't have a vehicle that will enable you to travel that road, enough
Okay.
gas to get you there. And it was in the
Yeah.
gas, your emotional motivation. Okay,
Okay.
so you know how to. Have you written novels before?
Actually, I have. I went through an MFA program, and I had to write a novel for the program, and I did it, but it was sort of like once I wrote it, I kind of put it away. So yeah, I did. So I
So
have like.
I ask you, and I say this with all due respect,
Mhm.
can you possibly focus on short stories for a while? You can write the novel too, but write.
Uh,
I don't
How
care if it's a
many
3 page short story.
how
If
many
you
short stories have you published?
ooh, I don't know, about like 6 or 7,
That's
and
good.
and I got one. I got a couple. If let's see, I got one that's about to come out, and the one that's about to come out, I'm really excited about it because it's my first horror story. And I'm really like horror is kind of what made me want to be a writer, like reading
K-
early Stephen King.
Danian, I cannot emphasize. I believe. I beg you, while you're working on the novel, work on
Yeah, yeah.
short stories. Because if
Yes,
you
yes, I
do
will.
that, we can help you a lot.
Okay,
We can
all
help
right.
you a lot if you will work on short stories in ways
Mm-hmm.
that we cannot if you're working on a novel. So to make best
I
use
got
of
you.
this free time,
Mm-hmm.
just you got me here.
Right, right.
If you will do that, we can promise to be able to help you.
Okay,
What
I
I
got you.
consider that to be a damn good deal. What do you think?
I think so too.
All right. So
All right.
you need to make me a promise that by the end of next month you will have finished a short story.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that
Okay?
definitely.
So in other
I
words,
can do that.
the life writing process is you make a commitment. I'm writing a sentence every day,
Yeah.
1 to 4 short
Mhm.
stories a month. Finish at
Okay.
least one of those short stories. Don't
Mhm.
rewrite except to editorial request.
All right.
Read 10 times as much as you write. That means you're going to read 10 short stories between now and the next month, right? Right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Right,
good.
of
Make sure
course.
they're
Yeah.
short stories. And
Okay.
you repeat this process 100 times until you finished
Okay.
100 short stories.
Okay, I
It's
got you.
guaranteed to get you published. Guaranteed. It's
Yeah.
guaranteed to lift your game at least one notch. Guaranteed.
Okay.
So
I
that's
got
the closest guarantee I can have that I can offer you.
you.
And
Okay.
if you will do your part, we'll do ours.
Okay, sounds good. Will do.
All right.
And hopefully we'll see you in that horror class that we're doing in September. We are doing
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, we give away as much as we can here and on the
Right, of
circle
course.
for free, but if you want more, if you want to get closer to that, then in all
Hmm.
honesty, that's for the paid group. Okay.
Okay, I
But
got
we'll
you
keep
now.
giving
Yeah, of
you,
course.
we understand money is a real thing, so we will give you as much as we can just because
Yeah.
it's fun. Okay?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
All right, great.
Right.
So Avalon Jacka. Hello.
Um,
There she is. There's the girl.
Oh, yes.
I would
And you
just,
are in our Afrofuturism
I am.
class. Yes.
Yeah. And Danny and I would just say, like, I'm also working on my novel and I have been dabbling in short stories through this program, and it's honestly really helped me with my novel and getting the creative process going. So I personally endorse it as someone who is working through that as well.
And you guys can share contact information if you want to be able to continue your conversation offline. Because the most important thing that you can get, one of the most important things you can get from this is networking, is being around other people who want to move forward at a similar pace toward a similar goal, who have some similar values. So building community. And I know that you're over on the Lifewriting site. Danian, please join us over there at www.lifewrite.com. It's free. It's free. And we can go deeper and I can answer questions and we can do that. We're building a community of conscious artists. That's what we're doing over there. So anyway, so Avalon, what can we do for you today?
So I have kind of a writing specific question.
Good.
And it
Love it.
requires a little bit of backstory, but I'll keep it short, but it's
I
just for
tell you what you
context.
do. First ask the question, then give us the backstory. I
Okay.
know that sounds crazy, but give us the question, then give us the backstory.
Okay. So I'm curious if it's ethical to remove Instagram posts that I've posted, like stories, um, in order to be able to submit stories as unpublished work.
I don't think
Oh,
Instagram is publication. What do you
Instagram,
think,
hold
T?
on. Instagram stories, you mean like those videos?
This is why I wanted to give some backstory. And
Okay,
I have a quick it's like three sentences, but just
sure.
to
Okay.
understand kind of where I'm coming from. So in October, I did a short story challenge where I wrote or started a short story every day. And then I posted the results to Instagram like as kind of pictures. Some of them were snippets, some of them were actually like the full first draft of the story. Um, and so like the main point of doing that was number one, to have a big pool of stories that I could work with to polish up and submit in the future. And then also to kind of build my online presence and be making different content, like unique content. And so I have these snippets posted to Instagram. And I was at a conference last week about writing, and they had said that, blog posts kind of count as being published. Um, and yeah, I was like,
I
oh,
think I think that
Look,
kinda is what you want to look at there. That
okay.
it is much better to put a blog post up than it is to keep it in your drawer. But I think that when you submit a story, they're asking if somebody else has published it. That ain't
yeah,
Instagram.
not you
Okay.
putting it up and by the way, I get wanting to create the content and maybe a screenshot of a couple sentences is fine, but I would not suggest posting entire short stories on Instagram,
Yeah, I've
just as a
realized that
practice.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
In
no,
hindsight, I've seen that.
it's not a publishing platform.
Okay.
Um, no, so even in terms of self-publishing, I wouldn't consider it publishing.
Okay.
It's content. That would be
Okay.
my argument.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I just want to make sure that like I didn't shoot myself in the foot by posting some of these, and you can't go back and like delete some of the pictures from the reels or like from the carousels to make it so that it's just a few sentences. But I
Anybody
am
who would call
updating
you
it.
on that would be a very petty editor. I just no.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that you are ethically totally in the clear.
Yeah.
Uh, if I were an editor, I certainly would not care. In fact, if you had an Instagram presence that was large enough to even hallucinate that that would have an impact on my audience, I would think you also had an Instagram presence that was large enough to help me promote my book. So I would be happy to have an Instagram. If a million people, saw that, it's like I'd be happy to get you. See what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Good. Okay. Because really there was one that got like 9 likes and the rest got three.
Oh my
I'm
God,
still
no.
building my presence, so I think
No.
I'm overthinking.
No. I mean, if
Aw,
you feel like you need to delete them, fine. But
yeah.
I don't even think you need to delete them. I don't think anybody would count
Yeah,
that.
don't
But
even bother
they do
deleting
that.
it. You are so cute. You,
I'm an
I love,
overthinker. I
no,
like
but
to do things
it,
ethically. I like to do things the right way.
yes, that's the
So,
whole thing. I love you. You really care about ethics that much, but I think we're saying what we honestly believe about this. That there is no rational reason anybody would want to do that. Anyone who punishes you for that is not being rational, and you'd want to deal with them anyway.
yeah, perfect.
Okay,
Okay. I
okay,
needed some other opinions. I talked to my husband about it and he was like, "I think you're overthinking this." And I was like, "You're probably right, but I want some writers' opinions too."
there you go.
Well,
All right,
good. Good for you for getting a second opinion. I'm
excellent, sweetheart. That's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
sometimes
All
hubby's great, but they don't, other people's hubbies, they don't always know everything.
all right. So let's have another question. Let's workshop something. Um, Alexander Adams, we haven't seen you for a while, and I want to know because you were supposed to do a song for us, if I recall.
Well, I have not written one, but I found one that I did write that I haven't performed because it's been eluding my voice. But I basically I've been working beyond in spite of domestic issues that are still going on right now.
Sorry
Um,
to hear that.
Now, the good news is we're still safe. For a while,
Yes,
basically,
yes,
we were looking at the fact that we might not be able to stay where we're staying. So, but that's gotten repaired and we're safe. And I can actually, as you can see, I've got my studio finally set up. And so I've been basically going back and catching up and picking up on the pieces of the um, production company that I'm part of, and we're finishing the final bits of the first illustrated storybook that written by yours truly, and we're going to hopefully I'm going to get everything done in the next 2 months, and it will be put at the printer by then.
great.
So that's what we're looking at.
So what can I help you with today?
Well, actually, I was just tuned in because I hadn't been able to hang on for the past couple weeks because of Wahoo. So I was just tuning in and listening. Actually, I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
I've been using the breathing, which is like very important right now because the random chaos keeps coming in.
And it's important to remember that stress seems to function specifically to get you to forget to do the things that help you cope with stress.
Yeah,
It feeds into itself. You get too busy to meditate. That's
yes.
like being too
Yeah.
busy driving to put gas in your car.
Yeah,
Um,
and if you're thrown into that survival mode, then it's like I stop breathing, I stop eating, I stop sleeping because I just
yes,
have to focus on whatever it is that's
yes, you
threatening me.
do what's imperative instead of what's important and
Yeah.
generative.
And now that we've got things settled and we are legally safe and secure in this environment, um now I'm basically going back and saying, okay, breathe. You can
By
breathe
the way,
now.
are you going to be at NorwestCon?
No, no,
Okay.
I'm not gonna be coming out to the West Coast until July. where I'm
Okay.
coming out for Ren fairs and stuff, but I am guest of honor at WorldCon in Seattle.
Oh, very
That's great.
nice.
You have
So
a
that,
wonderful,
Congratulations.
wonderful time.
Well
yeah,
Okay.
deserved.
that's where we're actually
And
doing the big
what would
release.
be a
So
perfect outcome for you at Worldcon?
the perfect outcome would be to have that book in print, in hand, and be able to get the other three uh, partners of the company to show up on Saturday and do a 2 hour presentation, which we've already slotted for, a 2 hour
Okay.
presentation of Imagineering
What is the perfect outcome that you can control personally?
that I can control personally. I can get that damn book out.
There you go. Okay. Okay. What's happening with your music?
The music's kind of going hand in hand. Um,
Okay.
we're actually we're playing with we're coming out with an audio as well with the book. And so there's an audio version that I'm doing that I'm taking all the music that we're using for the that I've written for the rock opera that goes with the story and a
Wait a
Chris
minute. Rock opera. You're writing a
yeah,
rock opera?
already did. It's already
Oh,
done.
great. Have you performed it?
Not yet. We
Okay.
that's what we're doing is we've got the music
When is your
done.
first performance?
We're hoping actually to have the cast set and rehearsed by this winter, this coming winter, where we're looking at various casinos to do a kind of a soft release where we can do these shows and have them recorded, get some camera guys, get a recording of it, and then
Well, let me
that's
ask you a
what our
question.
CEO can shop.
Is there any version of this that you could have ready by Worldcon?
We can have bits and pieces
So
because
you
we've
should
done a
plan, as
couple
far as
little
I'm
things right
concerned,
now.
you should plan to perform as much of it as possible that you feel proud of at Worldcon
Yeah,
and kind of
yeah,
start building the myth.
yeah.
Okay?
That I can do because I can do the vocals, and the other co-composer that is doing everything. Hopefully he's gonna be able to come from Scotland. But if he can't fly in because of safety and everything like that, because of our current culture, um, I can just use, a backtrack and just by myself. I can do a presentation by
Or
myself
you
if I
could
had to.
have him record his part and play the
That he already
recording.
has. Yeah, he already has.
Yeah,
We've got full backtracks of,
fantastic.
the whole thing, and I can
That's
just
good. I
print
think
things
I
out.
like the idea. Does that idea excite you? Does it do you
Yes,
kind of
very, very much.
does it scare you a little bit?
Terrifying, yes.
Excellent, 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 excellent. I'd like to see you do that. And if there's anything I can do to help you with that, just reach out to me, okay? Your success
Okay, sure.
matters to me.
Sure. Well, if it's possible, I'll definitely let you and Tananarive know that the book's coming out and when. But if I could, if I could get you to even just read a little bit of it before it goes out to print and do a little blurb on the back,
It's
of
possible.
the book, that would
Let's
be great.
let's give that a strong maybe.
Got it.
I'd
Understood.
like to help you. So
Yeah,
let's see.
because time being what it is, that's fine.
Absolutely. All
So.
right. Well, that's great. So let's see who else. Jaime.
Oh my. Hi. Great talk today. Um, part of my brain is latched on to the original poetry that I posted onto Facebook years ago and whether I shot myself in the foot with that or not. But the other thing that's sort of going on with me these days, I'm riding the wave and I'm in the curl and it's really fun. Tomorrow I get to make a presentation at an LGBT youth summit about my participation in LGBT activism over the last 40 years. And I've spent the last 2 weeks crafting my own stories, writing some of them as part of my life writing project, and choosing which ones I should tell tomorrow.
Okay. Which is the most important story? There's
Um,
somebody. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me.
yeah.
There's someone in your audience who's thinking about hurting themselves.
Right.
You tell the right story from your life and you save their life. What's your story?
That story is being invited to participate in the grand opening of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum the same weekend as the March on Washington for LGBT rights in 1993.
Okay, your best story, maybe that's it, but your best story will be one where you were overcoming a challenge. That
Yes.
you went into
At,
despair or a dark night and you got through it. What's that
so
story?
the details of that story is we held um, immediately before the ribbon cutting ceremony a small 15-minute long ecumenical spiritual ceremony of dozens of different spiritual walks honoring the victims of the Holocaust, including not only Jews and Gypsies, Roman Catholics, LGBT people, everybody that was victimized. And our little spiritual 15 minutes was protested by 300 Nazis.
Oh,
And I mean, we're talking actual brown shirt swastika wearing Nazis.
Okay, that's where you
And
start. That's where your
and there
story
were
starts.
and there were
Okay.
300 of them and about 3,000 of us at this
mm,
moment. And what happened is they could not disrupt the love of 3,000 people. And we surrounded them and went on with our ceremony anyway. And by the end of it, they had all collapsed into tears and wandered off one at a time and just
Okay.
faded away.
Okay. So
nice.
that's your climax.
Hmm.
I need a personal story from you. A time that you did not have 10 times as many people. Okay? Because it's
Ah,
as soon as you say you had 10 times as many, it's obvious what the end is going to
right.
be. So tell me about a time when you did not know if you were going to survive. You did not know if you were going to win. A
Right.
time that you were ready to give up. That's
Okay.
the moment. In order to help somebody in your audience, you
Right.
have to match pace with where they are. What is the incident that brings it home to you personally? Get personal.
Gotcha. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I was walking down the street one evening in Anchorage between one bar and another, dancing, going out dancing with friends. And as we were walking down the sidewalk, a car sped by us, yelled out, "Faggot!" and threw empty beer bottles at us.
Right.
And that
Now,
was the devastating moment back in
okay,
the
now that's a good
1980s.
one. That's a good
That
one.
was the 1980s. This was
Now,
1993.
do
Yeah.
you have anyone who you care about who's ever been victim of a gay bashing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what you do is you talk about the person who was victimized.
Hmm.
You then talk about the time it almost happened to you and the fear
Right.
you went into. And now you talk about the March on Washington, and you do that in that order.
Right.
You
Right.
are saying that you have those emotions, and the way you got through it was by finding community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you are telling that one kid out there who was thinking about going home and harming
Yeah.
themselves that there is hope. I
Right.
see you.
Right. I
Find
got it.
community. Come, let me give you a hug. You know that now. See, that's sales. Storytelling for sales or marketing works like this. You use the hero's journey. There's a problem you had. You did these things. You faced these problems. You fell on your face. You had faith. You got up. You won. Bam. Okay. Once the last step is the movement to the highest level. You become an elder in your community. You become the old man on the mountain. Now, you're talking to a kid who is in their dark night of the soul. What they need to get out of it is faith. Back a couple of steps, you have allies and powers. You, in other words, become the ally that they need to get through the dark night of the soul because you've already
Right.
been through that territory. So you tell your story, and
Right.
they then will have that sense this is the person I need, the story I need, the resources I
Thank
need
you.
to get through mine.
Thank you. That was the polish I needed.
That's how it works, buddy. That's exactly how. Remember, I told you I can't be a leader in your community, but I
Yeah.
can teach you how to be one.
Yeah.
Step up, buddy. I love it.
Thanks. Thanks.
You bet. Whew. Wow, this is fun. Leon, hello.
Hello, everyone. Um,
Hi.
hi.
Another
Well,
Afrofuturism student in the house.
yay. Woo, woo. So, Monday, I realized that I was exhausted, so I took a nap, and I woke up at
Mm.
2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that was like the best thing that happened.
Aren't naps wonderful?
I've been
You
wanting to, and I usually can't because I know, like, I'm always looking, okay, I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to do this, and I have
Yeah,
to do
I'm
that. And
so
I
bad
can
at
never just,
napping.
and then I just get overwhelmed. So I took a nap. I said, I'm just gonna go to sleep. So I took a nap with my dog.
Aw,
Because
puppy.
she takes naps like she's napping right now. So that was nice. And it kind of helped me like just say, okay, now that I've gotten that done, I can finally figure out how I'm gonna work my week and how I'm gonna get my 1%
So what
every
would you
day.
like to improve by 1% in the next 7 days?
Um, I want to, what do I want improvement? Actually, I need to lose some weight.
Okay, so let's take a
I
look at
need
that.
to eat better.
There's there's only two
Yes.
things you need to do, but they are of surpassing difficulty and complexity.
Okay.
Actually, there's only one thing you need to do to lose weight. You need to get the calories that you consume below the calories that you expend. Everything else is just a means to that end. So, what is your big problem? Is it lack of motion or eating too much? And
Both.
eating is almost always the bigger culprit.
Well, it could be because I partake in 420 that I get a lot of munchies at night.
Just
Ah,
one night? Come on now, that's not going to do it. One night.
yeah.
One night?
No, no, no,
Say
no, no.
what?
She is telling us her stress
Don't
coping
blame
mechanism.
420 now. Wait a minute.
Fantastic.
You know,
Okay, so
okay,
you
I'm
get
gonna I'm
munchy
gonna
at
tell a
night.
little secret.
Yes.
So when we're watching like Lakers game or whatever, and then 420 pops up on the screen, 420, it's 420 time.
That's right. It's like a
So
drinking game.
Oh, you mean every time you see the numbers 420?
right. Yes.
Oh, that's very different.
That's very different. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's
That's a
fine.
creative
So
approach.
so here's what you do. Here's what you do.
Okay.
Aim at improving your diamond hour, your first hour in the morning by 1%. That means clarifying, here's some things you could do to clarify your goals to gain by 1% in the next week. You could clarify your goals. Exactly how much weight do you want to lose and by when do you want to lose it? Write it down, okay? And then
Yeah.
look at that every day. You could clarify your reasons for wanting to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? Tell me about it.
Well, because I have some really fabulous clothes
Hey
and I
now.
want to fit them and I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also well there's a wedding coming up and I
Oh,
have this
okay. So
dress that
you
I
you
Those
love.
are
want to see
good.
is this a revenge weight loss by any chance? Is it going to be somebody there who you want
No,
to eat their heart out?
no,
Okay.
it's just I feel good.
Okay. Okay, great. You want to feel makes perfect sense. So you have a goal, and that means you have a deadline. When is the wedding?
April 27th.
April 27th. So you have 1 month to lose how much weight?
20?
A lot.
I mean, I know it's possible. I've done it before.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I would support you in losing 2 pounds a week. If you want to lose more than that, that's your thing. But you can't lose 20 pounds in a month and maintain the habits that took that off. That is a short-term thing. What
I
you want
know.
is to change your habits. Okay. Now, if you make a commitment to a pattern that will lose 2 pounds a week, you can then say, and I'm also going to do this other special thing that'll take off some more because I want to look great when I'm on the dance floor at the wedding or something like that.
Yeah.
That's fun. But asking yourself who is it you want to be is not the kind of person who's losing 20 pounds every month.
No,
Mm-mm.
I don't want to do that at all.
Yeah, but it's okay. So it's okay to do it short term as long as you understand that the real thing is to be the person who can live the life that gets you the things you want, and that will include being, being 20 pounds lighter than you
And you
are
don't
right
want to
now.
boomerang because, that is a natural lifestyle, that rapid
Indeed.
weight loss, unless you're going to be in a Marvel movie or something. So know that you might boomerang like once the wedding is over, since you're not going to be able to maintain those practices, have new practices ready that are not where you are now, but aren't as rigorous as
So
what you'll
if you
need.
really want to do this, then as soon as you get off this call, you go through your house and take everything out of the house and throw it away that you don't want to be munching on at
Oh,
night.
God.
And you fill the house with snacks that you are willing to munch on. You find things that give you pleasure, that is sufficient pleasure, and enough mouth satisfying mouth hunger.
Seaweed,
Oh, I
See,
have that. And
yeah,
25 calories in
my
here.
and
it's
you
my
might also say,
passion fruit. Oops, where's my camera?
yeah, I
I
see
know
it.
this thing with the background doesn't work, but I have these passion fruit from Trader Joe's. These are
Okay, so
good.
that works. So you say how many of those, if you know exactly how much of if you know that at evening you're going to chill and part of chilling is snacking. So you make a conscious decision. And one of the things you can do, one of the easiest ways you can do this is you simply take a picture of everything before you eat it. You can let yourself eat anything you want to, but you have to be conscious about it. You have to actually make the decision. You get your smartphone, and before
Oh,
have a bowl of caramel corn, but you got to take a picture of it. You
oh,
can't go unconscious. If you do that, you'll automatically make some of these changes. Now you're trying to make a change more rapidly. You're trying to lose, 5 pounds a week. You're trying to lose literally almost a
well, I
pound
would
a
do
day.
if I could lose 15 pounds, I would be okay.
Okay, so
I would be
now
okay.
now you're closer into what's possible without hurting yourself. Okay,
Hmm.
so if you did that, you could probably get that by adding some exercise, being conscious about what you're eating, and drinking more water. To get a picture of the way you want to look at the wedding, you get a calendar, you mark off on the calendar, and then you work your plan. You make your plan every day, and you remind yourself what you're trying to do. So that 1% there is getting 1% clearer, strategizing more about how you're going to do it, increasing your motivations for doing it. For my health, I'll be able to look good. I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to do that. Be sure be sure you have the motivations you need, because what you're looking for is how are you going to maintain discipline when you're stoned and the caramel corn is right there. You
Well,
see?
no. Well, good thing is I had my gallbladder removed. So
Yeah.
things like corn chips and popcorn and corn, like they don't digest properly. So I don't have my problem is cheese. That's my problem.
Okay, so throw all the cheese out of your house.
Well, I bought some vegan cheese. Now,
Is that still cheese, right?
well, it's not dairy.
Okay, so we're not worried about the chemical composition. We're worried
No.
about the calories.
Yeah.
Okay, calories are where it's at in that
Calories are
sense.
calories. Look, I'm trying to
Nutrition,
make excuses here.
health
Um,
is about nutrition. Weight is
yeah.
about calories. Don't confuse the two. They overlap. They have a lot to do with each other, but you can lose weight on a diet of candy corn. If it's fewer calories than
Oh,
you're burning up, you'll just get really sick. So,
that's like the worst candy. And
so
it's
what I'm
listed. If you look online, well, it's the most, but it's the worst. Yeah.
so if you know what caloric deficit you need, a pound of is 3,500 calories. In order to lose 3,500 calories, you have to create a deficit of, let's say, 700 calories a day for 5 days, or 500 calories a day for 7 days. So if you had a caloric deficit of 500 calories a day, you'd be losing about a pound a week. Okay. So what you're looking for is, what are you going to do to burn weight? Because that's the other side of it. You can't just decrease the number of calories you're taking in
Yeah. Well,
because your
walking.
metabolism should. So walking, I would suggest create greater intensity by walking on hills, by walking with heavy hands, by walking and power walk, by walking and race walking. You alter it. Look at the snake from both ends. Okay. One head is the calories in, the other is the calories out. You keep decreasing the calories in at the same time you're increasing the calories out, and eventually hit the point where you are getting that effect you want. It's easy to say. The physics is easy. The psychology, the biology, the physiology, the nutrition, that stuff is hard. So stick with the only part of the entire equation that's actually easy. It's like calories in, calories out. It's so easy that it can trigger guilt in people. I tried that and it didn't work because it's not easy to do it. It's easy to know that that's the thing you have to do. I remember not too long ago, I was talking about this on Facebook, and this one lady, nice lady, was arguing with me. It's not calories in, calories out. I tried that, and you don't know because of this, that, just all of her fear stuff. And then a couple of weeks later, she talks about how she reached her weight goal. She reached her weight goal by using a particular medication. I looked up the medication. What does it do? It suppresses appetite. My. It's not, you can't get away from the equation. It's just not comfortable to look at because people will say it's easy. No, it's not easy to do. It's difficult to do. It's easy to talk about. It's easy to put your finger on. It's like saying if you move that 500 pounds out of the room, it's simple to say it and it's true, but doing it is hard. So gain clarity on exactly what you need to do to accomplish this and just get 1% clearer per day. And even regardless of whether you hit the mark or not, you will have learned something very useful. You'll hit that mark within another couple of weeks and that'll still be
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah,
get
I
on the
know.
path.
And sugar, you know, um,
Is that one of your downfalls? Certainly one of mine.
well, red wine
Yes, sugar, alcohol.
has
Yeah.
sugar.
So so what you have to do is if you
I
were to take
do.
a photo of everything you ate, you would automatically decrease the amount that you ate. The danger is going unconscious. And if you are a 420 lover, it's easier to go unconscious. Okay.
Well, I mean, I have some good news though. I mean, I
Okay.
can be very disciplined. It's weird though. When I'm upset, I'm more motivated. And
Good.
so, yeah. But also just something else is that we always plant a garden and we plant cucumbers, zucchini, squash, tomatoes, eggplant, bell pepper, um, and some other things. But what I do is I use those things. I become like a vegetarian kind of, as soon as those things come and I eat better and I'm not buying all the I want to say junk in the stores. I shop on the outside of the aisles. I do not shop on the inside because I look at the cans of stuff and the ingredients and it just makes me sick. So, and I know um that growing my own stuff is better for me. So I can do that. But you're right about the cheese and
Remember, you can
definitely
you can get
processed
fat
stuff.
eating healthy food if you eat too much of
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
So
Butter.
so in terms of the weight, you want to look at the calories. In terms of health, you want to look at the nutrition. Those
Yeah,
are not the same
absolutely.
things. You need to separate them. And, you might want to try having a dieting buddy, somebody who you are talking to every day who will remind you to stay on the path. You check them, they check you. Every day you have to send a text. How did you do today? How did you do? Because just knowing you have to be responsible will make most people more disciplined.
Yeah,
And
I have a
good
friend
luck
for
to you.
that. She
Great.
highly recommended cucumbers, and I'm like, yeah, I need to like incorporate cucumbers in my life. But I also don't mind fasting. I'm not of the belief that I have to eat 3 meals a day. Um, and I do like drinking water. So I drink
This is good.
water
This is
and
good.
coconut water.
So, control all these things. Journaling about it is probably a good thing. This is, a constant thing that you're going to be dealing with. Look for the mental and emotional qualities that lead to this, sharpen those so that you can use those same mental and emotional qualities in other arenas. How can you use the notion of losing weight to improve your writing? How can you use the notion of losing weight to improve your relationship? There is some way that they all connect. If you can find that, then every bit of effort you put in this arena is helping everything. That's what I definitely recommend.
Okay.
All right, fantastic. And Tananarive just said that she has to run. I've got another couple minutes. Let's see if there's somebody else that I can help today before we go, because otherwise I'm going to go and get into my day, maybe start my weekend early. Jim Schubert, you're a writer, and what's going on with your writing?
Not a lot this week. This week has been focused on job interviews and finishing up my very first audiobook narration.
Well, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. If you're in the life writing plan, have you been doing a sentence a day?
I haven't this week, but I
Okay.
have actually been following the advice in the chat today and shopping for short stories so that I can read my 10 short stories a week.
Well, no, you don't have to read 10 short stories a week unless you're planning to write a short story a week. It's read 10 stories for every story you write, which means you have to read a minimum of 10 stories a month.
Oh,
Because
a month. Okay.
because you're writing a short story every month. But the first step is to write a sentence a day. Okay.
And I plan
So
on doing that tonight.
yeah, absolutely. It's just if you will do that, you're keeping that creative space open, and then it's just a matter of widening it when you need to do more. But any day that you're writing a sentence, you're a writer. You're a writer. You can absolutely no guilt. It's like I did it, and you're doing something that's really important for yourself. So we want you to win. Okay. And so, you're a grown ass man, you're going to do what you want to do, but we strongly suggest that this path works and it'll work for you. It's worked for hundreds of other people. And
Well,
I'm very proud.
sorry,
Go ahead, please.
I was going to say having the simple steps that I can execute on. Like I've been fighting out of I biologically experienced cyclic depressions, and
That's real shit.
yeah,
So I assume you have a doctor, in your wellness circle. Okay, good,
Yep.
good. I don't, we talk about depression as an emotional thing, but there's also depression as a neurophysiological thing, and that I want you to have a doctor for. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, please.
I get catatonic depression, so my brain
I
just
understand.
basically shuts down. So I've been fighting my way up out of that, and having even just a little thing to focus, like a one thing to focus on for the day. Like I have cats, and that keeps me remotely functional in life, just because I have to feed the cats.
I
So it's sort
understand.
of
Do you have any
those
physical
little things.
discipline at all?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you do?
I do kettlebells. I do
Wonderful.
the GMB programs. Actually, haven't done those for a couple months, but I often do the
I
GMB
don't know what that
programs.
is.
Gold medal bodies. It looks a lot like it was extrapolated out of Scott Sonen's stuff.
Oh, great. Fantastic. So is there a minimum of that you do every day? Just a minimum,
Yes.
something that takes no more than 5 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So keep a calendar, and on that calendar, write, make a check, a mark for every day that you do your 5 minute minimum of physical and do your sentence a day. Okay.
Okay.
Then you look back on, and what you will notice is that if you do that, you'll look back over 6 weeks, and if you did it every day for 6 weeks, you'll notice you accomplished a hell of a lot more and had fun doing it. And if you didn't, then you can say, okay, what stopped me on this day? I ate this, I had this bad phone call, I let myself get busy here. It's tracking your results using the smallest unit. Okay, so it's something that there's no logical reason you can't do, but you can say, well, I got hit with catatonic depression today. Can I think of anything that triggered that, or can I think of what might alleviate that, or is it just a cyclic thing that happens? And my doctor and I agree that all I can do is write it out. Whatever that is, start becoming aware of what's going on. Become a master of your vehicle, in life, your brain, your spirit, your soul. And keeping track of it, a journal or something like this, where you just keep will enable you to kind of go back and start looking at the last 6 months and starting to get a sense of how and when do I operate at my greatest level of efficiency? How can I get more of that? You just have to improve 1%. 1%.
It's funny that you were talking, I put a summary of it in the chat, but you were talking earlier about when you take the right actions, lucky things happen. And I was clawing up out of a bad place and decided I'd been isolating. I'd been, just the absolute bare minimums to function. And I decided 2 weeks ago to come to this 2 weeks ago. And while I was listening, and before, because you helped me tremendously then, while I was listening, I got a phone call that was a screening interview. And the screening interview led to the follow-up interview I had just this week it's a gaming company. I do the analysis side of development work professionally, and it's a gaming company for a company across Canada that actually you go inside the game essentially. So it's a little bit like living in the old Pink Panther movies inside these games, and they do all the development. They had this massive interview with me. Basically, I think that I will probably get the next interview unless they think I'm too old for the role.
So keep doing. Assume that this is an example of magic for you. Ask yourself, what are the positive steps I was taking that generated this, and do more of that.
That's
Do
why I'm
more
here.
of the positive steps that you can take care of. And if you keep your attention on the foveal, and luck starts coming from the peripheral. It's really fascinating how that works. You set your life up so you don't need luck. You're just playing the odds. You don't need luck. That's when you'll get the luck that you need.
Thank you, because I've started working on that again. I had lost
I
track.
think that's beautiful. Okay, guys, we have had a great time here today. I would like very much if you would unmute yourselves and say goodbye to all these wonderful people.
Thank you again,
Everybody.
everyone. See you all next time.
All
Take
right.
See you
care.
next week.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Namaste.
Take care. Have a great
those of you who
weekend.
didn't,
Break the leg, honey.
those of you who did not speak up today, please do next week. The
Quick
divinity
reminder
within
for everybody
me
who needs the chat. Click the
salutes
three
and
buttons
acknowledges the
before Steve
divinity
says
within each and
namaste.
every one of you. Namaste. Take care, people.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye bye.
Peace.
Yeah.